Everybody, welcome to Drive Thru Review 518. Today we're going to take a look at Dark Dealings. This is a new game from Nevermore Games. Plays 1 to 6 players. And this one is... Okay, let me talk about the theme first. So the theme is you're this Dark Lord and you're kind of trying to lure, adventurers and things into your domain to then in turn vanquish them. And it has this kind of drafting mechanic where you kind of feed these around to each other, and then players will build up their defenses. So that's kind of the gist of the game. The way the game kind of shakes out is it kind of plays out sort of like For Sale. If you've ever played that, it's a very popular filler game where you kind of buy and sell real estate. So let's jump into how the game actually works. It'll probably make a little bit more sense, and then I'll tell you more about what I think about it in the review. Okay, so here's everything you get in Dark Dealings. You get this cool Dark Tower type of first player token. You're going to give this to a start player, and this is just kind of remember who the start player was, because at the end of the game you want to make sure everybody played equal number of rounds. And then you have these hero cards, and these you're immediately going to draft. And you can see here there's some different types of heroes, halflings, knights, and so on, which I'll talk more about in a minute. And then you also have these little defense cards here. And these are the sort of traps and special spells and all kinds of things that you're going to be playing to ensnare and capture and destroy these heroes as they come in. So these have different effects and different types of damage that they can do. So the first thing that you're going to do is actually deal each player 9 of these hero cards and then draft them. So you're going to say, okay, let's take a handful here. I really like to keep maybe this knight and this berserker. I'll take and put these face down, pass the rest of the cards to my player on the left. I'll get the new cards here from the player on my right, and then I'll take 2, and you keep passing until you get down to 3 cards, which then you'll take 2 and then discard 1 out of the game. So then you're going to end up with 8 heroes. Well, what are you looking for here on these heroes? So there's a few things to consider. The first thing is the hero's strength. So you need this much sort of attack power to defeat the knight. But the knight is vulnerable to all of the 3 different types of damage. You've got kind of spell damage, minion damage, these are sort of physical damage, and then trap damage. The other thing you're trying to keep in mind here is its sort of activation strength, or this power here. So this is kind of a nebulous number, but this is going to help you in your ordering when we go to choose the defenses, which we haven't done yet. But these also have special abilities here, and this is a knight, so this means defenses may strike multiple times. And so normally when you activate your defenses to eventually attack and kill these heroes, you can only use each defense once when you're attacking a hero. So the knight actually allows you to hit it multiple times with 1 defense, but the knight's usually stronger than most other heroes. Here we've got a berserker. You can see it has 6 sort of health, but it can only be damaged by the minions, but it's got a very high value here. So you might say, I've got to have this type of damage to even do any damage to it, but hey, I want to take it because when it comes time to actually select our defenses, this is a very high number I'll get a choice of. So this is defenses that strike are trash. So every time you hit this with something, even if it wasn't going to be blown up anyway, it's going to be blown up because of the berserker. The rangers don't have any special abilities, but they're typically harder to kill generally. The wizard will just straight up blow up one of your defenses before you can strike it, and the thief, you have to have the exact amount to hit it, and then it should be, let's find a halfling here. And the halflings typically have a lower defense, but you actually have to beat them twice. So once you have your hand of cards, then we're going to move into the second step of the game. So after players have drafted their 8 cards, then we're going to deal out these defense cards off of this deck equal to twice the number of players. So if we're playing a 3-player game, we'll deal out 6. Then each player is going to take 2 cards from their hand that they ended up with and put them face down here on the table. And then once all players have done that, then you're going to reveal. So let's just do another fill over here. And so let's say we're going to reveal these. And so here we'll reveal these like so. And then you're going to select defenses that you're going to use to actually defeat all the heroes that you drafted. So what you're going to do is actually take a look at whoever has the highest number, in this case is the 53, and they're going to get first choice. So they're going to take and grab this defense here. I'll tell you why in a minute. And then once you have your selection, you'll take this hero and you'll put it down into sort of a queue. And so this is sort of the reverse order that the heroes are going to attack your dungeon. So this is the last hero we're going to do a battle with. So that's a huge decision when it comes to actually laying down these 2 face down cards. So let's work through this more. So he did it. Now the next highest is this player. He's 49. Let's say he randomly takes this one, then he puts this face down, and then he again has the next highest because 13 beats a 6. So he'll put this one face down on top of that one, and then he'll grab the next defense here, and then this player here has got the 6 and this one, and then this was set up for 3 players, so let's say the other guy grabbed these 2 because he was really low or something. And so then you'll do that again. So then you'll deal out 6 more. So we'll deal these out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and these will be out in the middle. And then players again will take 2 cards from their hand, put them face down, reveal them, and then again we're going to go in descending order here based on this sort of nebulous strength thing. And then you choose these. So always at the end of this round, you're going to have 8 of these defense cards in front of you, and then starting with the start player, you're going to start flipping the heroes off the top of your deck and then trying to defeat them. So starting again with the start player here, he's going to take the top card of his hero deck and he's going to look at it and says, okay, I've got a ranger, it's got a value 7, but he can only be damage here with the traps. So put him out here, then we'll take a little scan here of our defenses that we have. So what happens is, normally, like I said, you can only hit a hero 1 time with a defense. So let's say, let's give an example here. I had this one here, and this one you can see does trap damage, and so I couldn't go spend it a whole bunch just to knock this down unless I was fighting a knight. This one also wouldn't work because as you spend the damage, so I do 4 damage, bam, with a trap, the next type of damage on this particular card is the minion damage. And as you can see, he only is vulnerable to trap damage. So typically, this kind of card that has a diversity of damage is good, but not particular in this case. However, let's take a look. He's got 7 strength. So I've got this one that's 7 trap strength. So this one though has a special ability. So this is a really strong card. And you can get kind of a general sense of the strength of the card sort of at a glance by just looking at this white number. So this is a 5, which is really high. If we look down here, this is a 1. You can use it 3 times, but it's all the same damage and it only does 1 damage each time. So let's do this one here. So this has a special ability. So rotate another defense card before striking with this card. So I want to strike this guy, so I'm going to rotate it down. So this will do 7 trap damage, which would kill him. But before I do that, I've got to sort of exhaust a little bit one of my cards. So I'm going to go ahead and exhaust this one here. So he's just going to go into a little pile here. And then each player is going to do that in turn order. So Billy's going to go, Francesca's going to go, then back to me. And then we'll flip this card up here. And this one is an evil wizard or a good wizard. And it says trash a defense before striking. So before I can even activate any of these to strike it, I've got to just straight up trash one of them. So, well, I don't know. Let's see. I'm just kind of doing this off the cuff. But let's say I trash this one here. So this is trashed. This will go out of the game. And then now I've got to spend 4 damage here. So I can do 3 trap damage with this one. So I'll rotate that. And then I can get my other 1 here like that. And so on it goes. So the next one here will be a halfling. Now this one must be defeated twice. And so I could defeat this one, rotate this one with 3, because again he has the 3 health here to try to beat. But this is going to be the last damage because you can see the little trash icon. So if I spend that, boom, there's no more, and this goes out. So that was 1 defeat, and then I've got to do another 3 defeat here. And so I don't really want to do this, but I will spend maybe this one here. This is 4 damage of any type, and I'll spend that. I know I could do this one too, but I'm doing examples. So, and then the next one comes up, this ranger. Now he can be defeated by any of these. So, but if you ever get to the point where you don't have some configuration of damage to be able to defeat this hero, that hero will defeat you and you're out of the game. And then if it goes to the next player and they succeed, then Francesca succeeds, it skips you, they go to the next card in their deck until there's only 1 player remaining and everybody's had an equal number of turns of those remaining players. And then that will be the winner. Now if everybody goes through their deck, I've never seen everybody go through the deck, I've seen 1 person go through the deck, then you're going to have a tiebreaker. And the tiebreaker is whoever has the most defense left, defense cards, or if everybody or some players go all out at the same round. So let's say we all get to where we have 2 cards left and then we all die because all these defenses are all used up and we don't have anything left. Then you're going to take a look, whoever has the most defenses left again. And then it's whoever defeated the highest number here of this purple number here. So whoever killed the highest one of those on their previous attack will break that tie. And that's the game. So you draft 9 cards, then you use those cards to sort of draft again these defense cards. And then once you do that, then you're going to go through your pile of heroes and then try to last as long as you can. Okay, so that is Dark Dealings. Well, I love this game. It took a little while to get there with me. So the thing you have to know about this game, and I kind of hate to say this kind of thing, but the game obviously is not for everybody. But the thing that really hooks it in for me is kind of just that depth of learning how those heroes are going to behave at different points. So let's kind of work it back through here, because it took a little bit to get there, and it was one of those where you play it and be like, that was weird, but it didn't really quite go off. So let's try it again. And then it kind of just slowly snowballed, and I think I played it at least 8 times so far. So what you have to keep in mind, and this is very hard to explain unless you played it once, and I've found that we played this a lot with my lunch group, where it's like, okay, we had a new player actually play it the other day, and it was like, oh, okay, well, let's just let him play it, and then we'll try to explain it to him after. So anyway, enough equivocating. This is what you do. So you draft the 9 cards, and you have to keep in mind, okay, if I take Berserkers, those will blow up my defenses, and also the wizards, there's a lot of sort of blowing up defenses stuff. So if I put those at the end, when I fight them at the end, I'm probably not going to have a lot of defenses at that point. So I'm pretty much going to be iced out. But I might try to bury one way down at the bottom, hoping everybody else dies before I get there. But then I'm also looking at the types of damage that can affect it. So if something can only be affected by one type of damage and you have no defenses that do that type of damage, done, you're out. So you have to keep all that kind of stuff in mind, but you want to grab the ones with the really high value here in this corner, which are usually the ones that are harder to defeat, sort of, and use those to get the defenses that are going to be the better defenses. So it might be like, okay, I've got this strong guy here, but if I grab the one that does 7, magic damage, then I'm good because I've got it covered because I played the card. So it's kind of a balancing act between all of that kind of stuff. So thinking of the order that you play them, but you want to play the high one because you want to grab that really good defense card, but you don't want to have a bunch of really nasty ones at the beginning because they're just going to blow up all your defenses. Because, if you've got wizards, like 2 wizards at the beginning, it's like, okay, trash a defense and then also fight it, which might trash another defense because you used it up. Or the thief one can be a real tricky one. That's the one that seems to get me all the time, as I'll get down to it. And the thief, you have to have exactly the right amount of damage. You can't go over. So if a thief has 5 health, you've got to hit it with exactly 5 health or you can't beat it. And especially if you get a thief that doesn't have, has some damage type that's hard to get to. So, but I really enjoy the game because there's a lot of kind of trying to work through the kind of metagame that you develop for yourself in terms of the heroes you draft. You're like, okay, I've got a lot of trap and minion damage. I've got the one guy that has a lot of fire damage. I got like maybe one guy that's like really high strength. He's my only, not fire damage, but magic damage. He's my one guy. So I need at least one card with that. But then I can really focus on getting these other cards. And I know that I can get, like some of these, you can use that 7-1 to rotate another one. You get that to the damage that you need because you might memorize a little bit of the stack of the heroes. So it's a kind of involved. But it's a lot like For Sale because For Sale, you have the little auction and then you have that kind of reverse auction thing. So it's like the 2-stage game. You have a little bit of the draft and then you kind of use those cards sort of like checks or getting the checks in For Sale, and you get that. Then you got the third step where you kind of see how well you did. You don't just get points. You got to go through the process of that. So I think, again, this game's not going to be for everybody, but I like it because there's a lot there. Like I said, I played it 8 times, and I still want to play it a lot and get through it. And sometimes you just kind of get hosed up, and then you'll be like drafting or getting things, you're like, oh, I'm going to die on the 6th card because I have nothing for that person. So, you be kind of hoping and waiting as people are taking their turn. You're like, okay, oh, he made it. Okay, and then you got to watch the next one. Oh, he lived. Okay, so I'm out. But again, you can just get that thief. You're just like, oh, you know. And I've seen it where somebody goes out, I think, and this might have been me, it was either the second or third, you know, hero in. So it's like, oh, okay. And so that's going to put people off. You got to kind of like have to know that going in, though. It's like if you don't think ahead and really take your time, you know, you're going to get blown out of it. You're going to feel kind of stupid maybe, or you might just feel like the game is all lucky and sucky, you know. But I think if you know that going in and you kind of throw out that first play or maybe even 2 plays, then it's like, okay, boom, now I've got through the barrier and I can see and kind of have a better gauge of what's happening at the table. Anyway, I highly recommend the game. Not for everybody, but I think if you sit with it for a bit, and it doesn't take very long to play, maybe 20 minutes. I mean, even your first game isn't going to go that long because it's all simultaneous stuff really until the end. And then it's just like you flip it over and you know what, you kind of have an idea what you're doing. So anyway, definitely take a look at this one. Thanks.